Hello and welcome to my first YouTube video. In this video I'm starting it off simple, just talking about an upcoming Warhammer 40k league that I'm taking part of. So moving straight on to the rules of the league. Lists can be changed between the games, however the army and the detachment must stay the same. This applies even if you get a codex during the league. You have to use whatever detachment is the most similar to your index detachment. We are using the Pharaoh Nexus mission pack. If you win, you get 3 points. If you manage to draw, then both you and your opponent get 1 point. Then you get 0 if you lose. Most points at the end wins. If players are tied, it comes down to most points scored within games. Be matched up with players who have the same points as you or the closest to your score. So 1 or 2 points difference, but ideally same points. My main concern is that I've not used the Pharaoh mission pack yet, but I've watched enough battle reports so I've got a rough gist of what's going on. I don't see it being too much of a problem. I was part of a different league a few months ago, which was a 1000 point league using the Leviathan mission pack. I also used World Eaters then. I finished 4th overall, which I didn't think was too bad, as I do not play competitively very often. With that being said, the channel is going to be used partly to show my progress as I learn the competitive side of the hobby, and partly to show just the stupid lists I come up with and the battle reports of me using them. Now with that being said, we're going to move on to list number 1, which is inspired by Blood for the Blood God and his team's list. The main difference is there's 20 Terminators in my list and there's 30 in his, and he did not use the Lord Invocatus in his list. I've chosen to use him as I think he is incredibly powerful, especially in smaller games. He enables me to move Terminators possible 17 inches turn 1, and they can charge after this move. This is done by 6-inch Scout from the Lord Invocatus, a 5-inch normal move on the Terminators, then advancing, which I can use a command point so I can automatically advance 6 inches, providing we also have the advance and charge from Blessings of Khorne. I can also charge in that turn. This list will be used against heavy armor list, so that would be Knights, Astra Militarum, some Marine lists spamming Dreadnoughts and Predators, just other more mechanized stuff, so an Iron Hands list, basically. Big upside of the list is I shouldn't have to worry about being able to score secondary objectives, as I've got 2 lots of Jackals, which have sticky objectives, and a unit spawn, which can just go around, do actions, etc. Downside being there's not much in terms of spam clearing, besides heavy flamers on the Terminators. If I'm going against Tyranids and faced with 100 Gaunts, I don't think I will be able to chew through enough of them before they have too much of a lead on me points-wise. List 2, I think, is the modern World Eater list that people are used to. So you got Angron, Khan, Lord Invocatus, group of 10 Jackals, group of 10 Berserkers, group of 5 Berserkers, 1 Rhino, 2 lots of 3 8 bound, and 1 lot of 3 Exalted 8 bound. This is the one that I am swaying towards more than either of the others, primarily because it's got everything in it that I want to use. I feel like it's got enough units within it that I can sacrifice units and tie up larger enemy units in combat if I need to. One thing that I'm questioning about the list is, do I want to keep the unit of 5 Berserkers or swap them out for a second unit of Jackals to give me more sticky objectives, or potentially a unit of Spawn? A unit of 5 Berserkers doesn't do much by itself, so it could be more helpful as a lesser unit. Jackals sticky objectives, Spawn for pure survivability of them. Another route would be dropping the Lord Invocatus for a Master of Executions, which I could also give an enhancement to because I'd have a leftover 40 points. So this could be Battle Lust to get the free Heroic Intervention, or I could give him the Berserker Glaive for the +1 attack and +1 damage. Either or would be quite helpful.
The game plan is that the Jackals will start on the objective that's in my deployment zone, then stay there for most of the game just to screen out my backline. Lord Invocatus will use his 6-inch scout on the unit of 5 Berserkers and the Exalted 8-bound. The 5 Berserkers will start moving towards the nearest objective to me. The Exalted will start moving up the battlefield to take on whatever they need to. Angron's there to soak up damage as well as be the beak stick. He's going to prioritise the bigger enemy threats, such as Catan shards, say they've taken Gulliman, the Lion. That's his job. Khan is there for a similar job. Then his Rhino will go around blocking line of sight and movement blocking. Lord Invocatus will be going around solo to tie up units as well as score me secondaries. The 8-bound are there for damage as well as the reroll wound rolls to my other friendly units. So they're kind of following around, giving off their real filter wound rolls aura. Going to primarily use that for the Exalted 8-bound and the unit of 5 Berserkers if they need support to kill something. There's no point using it on Khan as he already gives off real filter wound rolls of 1. Now we're going to move on to list 3, which is pretty much identical to list 2. However, this time round I've got more 8-bound instead of Angron. Also a Master of Executions with the Battle Lust enhancement, which, as I said earlier, it lets you use the Heroic Intervention stratagem for free, which is basically free charge move but on your opponent's turn. It's a very mobile list. You've got 3 lots of 3 8-bound. Lord Invocatus are ready to have, and they all have 6-inch scout move. The 2 Exalted 8-bound will gain it from the Lord Invocatus, so that'll be 6 units I have that have Scout 6. Khan and his Berserkers move up in the Rhino. It's a very aggressive list, which I think will help me plan an ambush. So it's more planning for a turn 2 or 3 charge. But when I do make my charges, it should look up most of my opponent's army. So it's not the turn 1 all-out charge like you used to for World Eaters. It's more of a plan turn 2, plan turn 3, wipe half the board kind of thing. So to cover the rest of the list, we got Khan, like we do in the other two, Lord Invocatus again, Master of Executions with Battle Lust, 10 Jackals, 10 Berserkers, group of 5 Berserkers, 1 Rhino, 3 lots 3 8-bound, 2 lots 3 Exalted 8-bound. The Master of Executions is going with the unit of 5, Khan with the unit of 10 in the Rhino. This is more so because I prefer to use Khan, which we'll get onto shortly for why. Master of Executions is helpful though for the fights first and the free heroic intervention with his enhancement. To answer a question some of you may have, I'm trying to use Khan in every list this edition as I'm keeping a kill count for him. What you see on screen is a list of all things he's killed this edition. Some of them he's dealt all the wounds to the model, others he's just gone round and finished them off. For example, Gargantuan Squiggoth and the Nightbringer, he didn't do that completely by himself because that would be a hell of a feat. But if you're looking at like Makari, he killed by himself. Gaz, he's killed by himself at least twice. I believe the third time he just finished him off. But like Typhus, he killed by himself. Commander Farsight, he killed by himself. My aim is to have one named character from each army by the end of the edition. Ideally, a main character. For example, Thousand Suns, I'd like to have Araman or Magnus. Then, if you look, I've already done it with some armies anyway. So, like Gaz, I've got Celeste, which I'll take for Slanesh Demons. If I can kill a Keeper of Secrets or Shalaxi, that would be even better. But I'm happy with what I've done so far. For Marines, I'm happy that I've got Gulliman. I'm not trying to get one from each Marines Legion. At the same time, if I can, I'm not going to complain. So, moving forward with the channel, there's a few things you can expect from me on the channel. I'm going to be doing battle reports, I'm going to be showing clips from my Twitch, Space Marine 2 gameplay when it's released. I might release some Destiny 2 gameplay. I don't know if I want to keep that on my Twitch for now, or if I want to show clips of it, etc. Showing progress in my tabletop gameplay. Like I said at the beginning, I'm still new to competitive play, so it's going to be me learning, and I can take you along with me, show you the tips and tricks I learn while playing competitively to help you, ideally. I'm playing a practice game with my second list today, which I will be taking pictures of during the game as long as my opponents are happy with me doing so. If they are and all goes well, that video will be up on the channel in a few days, going over what went well, what didn't go so well, how I'm going to tweak the list, if I would prefer using a completely different list, all that stuff. I do also stream on Twitch, like I mentioned earlier, which I'm going to leave a link to in the description. I'm currently streaming mainly Destiny 2, however I do plan to stream Space Marine 2 as soon as it is released. So I will leave a link to my Twitch in the description. But yeah, other than that, that's all I have to say. Any interaction would be great. Likes, comments, subscribing, coming over to my Twitch. You can message me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, whatever. Any interaction is good at the minute. It will help spread my channel, get it going. Let me know what you want to see, and I'll do my best to supply that. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.